We're now being joined by Kris Oziofu Ekuafeh-Ero, a stress mastery expert, a life coach, and TV host. The book is set for public presentation tomorrow here in Lagos, and the foreword to it was contributed by a former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. She joins us now to take a quick conversation on the inspiration behind the book, in addition to what she intends to achieve by writing. Good morning, Kris, and good to have you here on the morning show.
Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Adesua.
Morning.
It is.
So, the book, Rhythms of Resilience, yes, of course, Conquering Amnesia. That's the very first thing that actually struck me, because the truth is this: amnesia is not a topic that is well discussed in Nigeria. Talk to us about this, and what's the inspiration behind the book?
Okay. Amnesia for me was just the turning point in my life. You know, we all have that particular incident that changes us, you know, for the better, for some, for the worse. In this case, amnesia happened to me when my blood pressure rose to a dangerously high level, and my brain had to shut down. I tend to say it like it had to shut down to keep me alive.
Wow.
Right? So I went into a coma, not for too long, for some hours, right? And then by the time I came to, I couldn't remember anything. Everything was gone, and I had to live that way for 2 years. The reason I brought that out in the book was so as to connect with people and whatever challenge that they are probably going through. My turning point was amnesia. For a lot of people, there are other turning points in their lives, but they really do not know, how do I move forward from this? You know, so that is it. And because I wanted to get to speak with people and help them, you know, that's basically the inspiration behind the book. You know, we live in a very stressful world, in a very unpredictable world, and there's so much undulating nuances, you know, that we go through. So how are you going through it? How are you conquering it, if you are, right? And what are the steps that you need to take? So in the course of the work that I do, I also see that so many people are lost, you know, they're in the dark, they really don't know what to do, they're looking for help, and we find that they look for help in the wrong places. So let's bring the truth to you, you know, in a book.
Definitely. You know, I love that this book is called Rhythms of Resilience, because you do need to be resilient to make it through life, I want to say. Especially, I would say, in Nigeria right now, a lot of people are going through difficult times. And I've been looking at some of the reflection prompts in your book. So I'd like to ask you one, and then maybe you can talk to us about it. So I want to ask this: how do you treat yourself during difficult times? Are you as compassionate and understanding to yourself as you are to others? And also, I want you to speak to that, and maybe speak to the prompt and what you're trying to elicit, the type of response you're trying to get from people with that.
I'm very glad that you brought that particular thing out, because that's a major challenge with a lot of people. When we talk about empathy, when we talk about compassion and kindness, we find that it's easy for us to push it out to others, right? We're pushing out to others, we are not actually giving it to ourselves. And that is the problem. I keep saying that you are the #1 player in your world, and you can only give what you have. So you find people who are claiming to be empathetic towards others, to be compassionate towards others, but there is a catch, because their compassion and their empathy, their kindness comes from a place of, what do I get in return? And that is because they are yet to understand that they need that compassion themselves. So they are looking for validation elsewhere. So it's like, hey, I'm going to do you this bit of kindness, and I expect you to do this kindness back to me. So when they don't expect it, you know, they go all out crazy and, you know, thinking that they're all alone, and they start acting like they're victims. But the thing is, once you direct compassion, kindness, and love to yourself, it is easy to give out of a full bucket, and you don't feel like, hey, somebody give it back to me, because it is you. You know, so that is what that pertains to.
Fair enough.
All right, the foreword of this book was written by an elder statesman, former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo.
Yes.
Talk to us. Why him? And what's the connection, basically?
The connection. President Obasanjo he just celebrated his 87th birthday,
Yes,
if I'm correct. And for an 87-year-old man, his agility is out of this world. He's extremely healthy, and you find that he engages in activities that even younger people find difficult to engage in. He plays squash. He's very particular about his health, about what he eats, and he's been through some very challenging periods in his life as well, especially as the former president of a country like Nigeria. So you'd know that he has acquired some knowledge and some expertise of knowing how to overcome certain challenges and still remain standing. If you notice, he's still very relevant, in the things that we talk about in the country and all that. And, he's passionate about wellness, he's passionate about health. So when I was thinking about who's going to come on, who's going to write the foreword for me, he was a very logical option, right? And it was like a tall reach for me to get him, but eventually I did. And I was very humbled to see that, for him to have said, okay, fine, no problem, I'm going to read it. And he actually read it, and he wrote a foreword. I'm totally, totally humbled. The fact that he connected with it shows that there's some meat in the book after all.
Definitely. So let's talk more about this, the theme of resilience and also the theme of kindness to yourself. Because I think I've seen quite a few prompts that are about giving yourself grace when you're going through difficult times.
Yes.
But there's also this, when it comes to mental health, and as I think a lot of ideas are being imported from the West, right? But I do think that it is still something that, as in our nation, we do need to talk about mental health, especially for young people. We've spoken today about a lot of unemployment. We've spoken about the harsh economic realities people are facing. So how do you advise people, especially, within the context of your book, to stay positive even though they're going through negative times, and how maybe that positivity will not be harmful to them, but maybe helpful?
Yeah. The first thing I tell people is change your mindset. You're going through a challenge. Don't look at it like the worst has happened to you and you've got no hope. By the time you change your mindset from that to that of gratitude, because no matter what you're going through, there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something that you can pick out of it. And challenges are meant to strengthen you. They are meant to polish you. And they're meant to bring out the best in you. But when we block our minds to that and we refuse to be grateful for that particular situation, we find that we are more focused on playing the victim. So we are complaining more, we are worrying more, and then we are frustrated even more. So when we come into contact with even people that could be of help to us, we can't recognize them because we are all filled with negativity. Now, concerning the youth, the younger generation, I have this to say. Social media has been a blessing and a curse, has been a blessing and a curse. And we have not been able to learn how to navigate the waters of social media in such a way that we protect our mindsets entirely, and more so for children. Children are the younger generation, they are being exposed to life on a platform, on a bandwidth that we of our own generation weren't really exposed to. So for them to be able to adapt to it, it's like so much noise coming to you from different places. So how are you going to navigate, right? So it's easier for you to go for the flashy trends. It's easier for you to go for the very noisy ones because you think that is the right thing to do. But again, it's about who are you? Really, who are you? What drives you? Right? By the time you get to the point of knowing that this is who I am, and you start really loving yourself. We talk about self-love and self-care a lot, so it sounds a bit corny, like a cliche, like you guys are talking about it for too long, but it's very important and it's the key. Like, you cannot love what you don't know. I say that a lot. And if you don't know yourself, you can't love yourself, and you can't appreciate love when it comes to you. You won't even know the real love. And that's why you find a lot of people going through mental issues, because they, unequivocally, they put themselves in situations that harm them because they know no different.
All right. Before we go, I know your story actually inspired this particular book. I'd like you to share your story with us. And two, those watching how your story helped morph this book into existence, so to speak.
This happened to me in 2013. I gained my memory in 2015. So
that means you lost your memory at some point.
Yeah, I lost my memory in 2013. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's when it happened. So I regained my memory in 2015.
Wow.
So from 2015, I was pushed by curiosity to understand, to know exactly what happened to me, because I want to believe that's what happens to a lot of people. Like, you go through a dark time. By the time you come out of it, you want to understand what led me down here, what brought me to this point. Yeah. So I did that, and stress came at me really, really hard. Right, it was hitting me, and I had to focus on the lifestyle that I had. It was about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. What exactly was the problem? So in understanding that, I became more immersed in wellness. That was really my push, my foray into wellness. And while I was doing that, I went into the media because I felt there were so many things I was learning that not so many people knew about. Because we were learning things from people who were really not trained, or who were being affected by their own experiences. And they're coming to share their pain with you from a place of pain, not from a place of, hey, I want you to heal. So you find a lot of people are grabbing onto that, and they are basically soaking up other people's pain and trauma and making it their own. So the idea behind this is not for me to say, hey, this is what I went through, right? And I'm crying, I'm playing a victim, I'm going like, hey, but it's from a place of knowing that you can heal. So it's from a place of positivity, from a place of optimism. And when I talk about optimism, there's something called empty optimism, where you are optimistic just for the sake of being optimistic. You're denying your situation, and you're saying, hey, there's a very common thing, and I think I stated that in the book, especially with religious folk, where you see someone who's basically poor, has no money, and needs money, but calls up someone and says, hey, I'm rich. Can you square me 2K? And you're wondering, how can you be rich when you're looking for 2K? Accept your situation, accept that this is what you're going through. But in the midst of that acceptance, knowing that you have the wherewithal, to come out of it, to go through it and come out of it a better person.
All right, some people believe in positive affirmations. So
yeah, positive affirmations work. Yeah. They do work. Yeah, it's very important what you tell yourself, whether negative or positive, because your brain is a sponge. It soaks, and whatever it soaks, you find that it begins to reflect in your actions. And the confirmation bias, what you believe is what the world will show you. That's so true. If you do believe that you're a victim, in quote, the world will consistently put you in instances where you see the confirmation, and then you acknowledge that, oh yes, I truly am a victim.
Kris, I want to say thank you very much. We wish you all the best. The book is actually launching tomorrow officially.
Yeah, it's launching tomorrow on the 7th, officially.
Yeah, in Lagos. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for actually granting us a copy.
It's the least I can do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.